Welcome to Sunday Table Talk with Carolina Diamond, Epiphany of Change, where there is always a seat at the table. Today we are going to dig into a few things that I thought were pretty interesting this week, and a lot of things that I came across today. One of the things that I saw trending for the last couple of days was the college admission scandal that involved a lot of celebrities, celebrity parents trying to get their kids into specific schools, getting their SAT scores forged. We're not going to say that they had them increase them, they had them forged, because if those are not the numbers that they received on those tests, then they were forged. And most of us should have had to take the SAT, and we know how hard that test is. So to see other people paying people off to get higher scores, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But the first person was Felicity Huffman, and she recently received a 14-day sentence. No, I think I meant to say 14 years. 14 days. She recently received a 14-day sentence for her part in the college admissions scandal. And these are her penalties for that crime. Like I said, she received 14 days in prison. 14 days in prison. She was fined $30,000. She has 1 year of supervised release, and she has 250 hours of community service, if I'm not mistaken. So she was accused of paying $15,000 to get someone to inflate her daughter's scores so that she can get into USC. She pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. So someone put out a tweet, and the tweet stated that though the sentencing guideline is 4 to 10 months of jail time, prosecutors were recommending the lower end of that range, and were also allowing Huffman to argue the 0 to 6 month range. Now, mind you, I didn't say defense were trying to get the lower end. Prosecutors were recommending, Lord have mercy, the lower end, 4 to 10 months, and they were allowing her to argue for 0 to 6 months. And as I said, she ended up with 14 days, 2 weeks in prison for her part in this. Mind you, you have had people that have received 5 years in prison for fraudulently, putting an address down so that their child can go to a specific school and have access to certain entitlements or benefits by going to a particular school. But Miss Huffman did receive 14 days, so I guess we can say at least she received something. Unlike the next person, Miss Lori Loughlin from Full House. And I know y'all remember Lori. I think that was Aunt Becky on Full House. So she's awaiting sentencing now, if I'm not mistaken. But her and maybe 15 other parents were had to go to court for their part in this college admission scandal. And her husband are both involved in this, and they were alleged to have given hundreds of thousands. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw like 500,000 or more. So again, she pled not guilty. Okay, and so now they're saying that now that she saw that Miss Huffman only got 14 days, she's like rethinking what happened, but she already pled not guilty. And now she's wishing that maybe she would have, went ahead and stuck it out and just got 14 days versus her being able to receive up to 40 years. Okay, so she can receive up to 40 years. So we're going to see what happens. I also ran across another article on Russell Simmons. And it seems that Russell Simmons is back in the news again. We know before he was accused, he had at least 12, there's probably more, but at least 12 allegations of some type of sexual assault or sexual misconduct. So Mr. Simmons did not do any time. I know that one of the accusers, her case was actually dropped. I don't know what happened with all of the other accusers, but I know that he had at least 12 that alleged that there was some type of sexual misconduct involving Russell Simmons. So what I saw him in the news for this time is because of those allegations that he has or had, there was a yoga studio in West Village. It's the West Village Yoga Studio. They pretty much banned him from the yoga studio because some of the people said that they felt uncomfortable with him being there. And according to Mr. Simmons, he received a personal invite by the owner or the CEO to go there because, you know, he's really into yoga. Yeah, after being invited there, he was told that people didn't want him there. They felt uncomfortable with him being there, and he was banned. So he had to go. So I'm looking at this as Russell Simmons made a statement, and, you know, he said it was really disappointing. It was another case of guilty by accusation. And we usually say guilt by association. But he said guilt by accusation, and that's actually becoming the trend right now. We're just throwing due process out the window. We threw it out the window, ran over it from the front, ran over it from the back, and then we did some wheelies on that thing. I mean, we threw it all the way out the window. It's not guilt by accusation. It's not. And the fact that it's even appearing to be that way, we need to do better. We really need to do better. Now, again, on this thing with justice, and I do mean justice because I'm mentioning Justice Kavanaugh. Now, we know that whenever he was going through his confirmation hearings, and actually before his hearings, a lot of things came up. He was being accused of sexual assault, not just by one, not by two. There were a few allegations that were out there, and he was still confirmed. So now that's why he's Justice Kavanaugh. Okay, so now the thing is, there are some other things that are coming out. And now, I mean, he's in that seat. So you have some people calling for, some Democrats calling for his impeachment. Of course, you got some Republicans that are standing up for him. You know, even the big guy came out, you know, saying that that's a disgrace to his name. They shouldn't smear his name. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And that kind of struck a little nerve with me, just a little one, like, little one. Struck a little nerve because, again, we have this selective justice thing, and we're picking and choosing when we want to take a real hard look at justice and how people are being treated in this system, whether or not things are equitable in this system. So now we're worried about certain people's names being smeared. And even with the college scandal, the admissions scandal case, you know, there was an argument about whether or not Miss Huffman got too much time, whether or not 14 days was too much time. And I think even John Legend came out and said something about the time and people being so willing to lock people up, and that wasn't going to help anything. I said John Legend. I'm going to leave that there. Everyone should have the presumption of innocence. Everyone is entitled to due process. Everyone deserves fair and just treatment, period. We can't go by, oh, well, they allege that this was done and they allege that that was done. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are against. I don't care who you are for. Everyone is entitled to due process and the presumption of innocence. That's all I'm saying. So we're going to see what happens with Justice Kavanaugh, because people are coming out. Y'all know once Twitter gets it and it's on fire, then we're going to have a little firestorm for a while, and there's no telling what kind of mess may come out But there was a new story that came out, and we did find out that if you follow the story, I think there was something in New York Times and maybe some other pieces, but they did say that there was a lot of corroborating evidence that was there that was ignored. They had a lot of people that could corroborate the stories of some of the misconduct, we'll say misconduct, that allegedly took place with Mr. Kavanaugh back in the day while he was in school. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. And again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So he's no different. Russell Simmons is no different. Final thing. And remember that Carolina Diamond, yes, we speak on justice, but the thing is, things that matter to you, things that matter to us as a community. And one of the things that bothered me, because those of you that have done your research, you know that I've done, work in drug treatment. And one of the things that bothered me that I saw this weekend was I was seeing a lot of reports of teenagers going to the hospital, teenagers that have died, teenagers that have long-lasting physical effects or health issues from smoking e-cigarettes. When you have 16, 17, 18-year-olds presenting to a hospital and they're being triaged and they have lungs full of, I'm going to say e-juice. You got lungs that are filled with e-juice, that oil that's being put through these e-cigarettes. And you have people reporting to the emergency room with bronchial infections and pneumonia-like symptoms. There was one young man that had just straight holes in his lungs, in the walls of his lungs. And like I said, you have some that have died. The more flavors they come up with, the more our young people are smoking them. And they don't see anything wrong with it. It doesn't have that smoky smell. So that takes that, oh, are they smoking? Like, if it doesn't have that smell, it's not dangerous anymore. I need you to understand that this is the same way that pharmaceutical reps, and understand what I'm saying. This is the same way that those, I'm going to say it like my preacher, those left-handed pharmaceutical reps were able to force K2 into your children's homes, into their backpacks, into their lunch bags, synthetic marijuana. They did things to make it more desirable for teens, for young people. When have you seen any dangerous drugs that had Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob on the pack? I mean, I need you to think about it. Now you're getting these flavors that the kids like. They can go and get bubblegum flavor. They can get raspberry flavored. I mean, kiwi, strawberry, like whatever it is, you go and get these different flavors, grape, and they smell good. And if the way that our mind thinks, our mind to our mouth, those taste buds, if all that goes together, then we got something that we like. And if it's not affecting us immediately, then we got a winner. For now, in dealing with the kids, please be mindful of the things that are being put out there for your kids, because they're being put out there right in front of your faces. And a lot of kids are using things right in front of your faces. And because it looks like something that's made for kids, then you're not paying any attention to it. So this is just my thing with, just putting a little word out there. When I saw all this stuff, I started doing some research on it. And because the E-Cigs are pretty new, the research is also new as well. So you may have someone that smoked 20, 30 years and never had any lung problems or anything like that. But then you got these young kids and they've been smoking these e-cigarettes for maybe 3 months. And now they're having problems breathing, having problems with their, like coughing up secretions and all kind of stuff. We got to pay attention. So whenever we're talking about epiphany of change, about making a change, change isn't just about this justice system. Because the only way that we can be just and fair to each other is if we're just and fair to ourselves. And that includes taking care of the temple that we were blessed with and the seeds that we have sown. And hold up, let me say one more thing. Okay, so just because someone doesn't say something the way that you want them to say it, or they don't say what you want them to say, that doesn't mean that you have to go and try to degrade people and call them names and try to bring them down. Because at the end of the day, and I'm not speaking on me, so I don't need anybody saying, Dr. Rogers, you got to toughen up and all that stuff. I'm not speaking on me. I'm speaking on the things that I'm seeing. If you have to go and put somebody else down, be it just being disrespectful, condescending, just flat out lying, if you have to go and do that, that speaks on what you have going on. Now, I'm going to back away from the table. And I'm going to drink my little drink. And I'll see you guys next time.